If the voiceover business was a baseball game, and you as a voiceover talent were a player, what kind of hits would you mostly get, and what would your average be? We'll talk about it next on this week's DeWeese Directive. Hey, nice to talk to you today. Welcome to this video. Thanks for checking out this channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you have. And if you're not on my email list to get all the latest information, make sure you're signed up at voiceoverrevolution.com. So if the voiceover business was a baseball game and you as a voice talent were a player, what kind of hits would you mostly get and what would your average be? Let me explain. In baseball, if you follow baseball at all, you probably know that the first batter in baseball is what is known as a leadoff batter. And the fourth batter is known as the cleanup batter. And there's a fundamental difference between those two players. So really the primary question I have for you is, are you a leadoff batter or are you a cleanup batter? A leadoff batter typically is put in that place because that player is very good at getting on base. They tend to hit a lot of singles, some doubles, occasionally a triple, and on rare occasion a home run. But they lead off because they get on base. They get a lot of hits. They typically have a pretty good batting average. A cleanup batter, in contrast, number 4, is placed there because typically they bat because they want to be in a position to where maybe 1 or 2 guys, maybe 3 if they're lucky, are on base, and they tend to be a power hitter. They have a lower average. They don't get as many hits, but when they hit them, they tend to go further with more power, some doubles, lots of triples, and they also get quite a few home runs. My observation has been that most voiceover talent, as they get into the biz, they automatically assume that they should play the role of cleanup hitter, meaning they're always swinging for the fence, meaning the cherry voiceover jobs, the jobs that everybody thinks of when they think of voiceover: movie trailers, network promos, national advertising campaigns, which for all the obvious reasons are very desirous to have. But when those are the only jobs that you're swinging for, and usually those are acquired by being represented by a very good talent agent, you can expect that your average is not going to be all that terribly high. The result is because you're dealing with a smaller pool of work, number 1, and number 2, a stiffer pool of talent. So when that happens, what happens is you create if you have an income at all, it's very inconsistent. And I remember when I first began coaching and helping voice talent, I remember some of my earlier coaching sessions and consultations were with what you and I would consider to be talented, or I should say successful voice talent, represented by some of the best agents in America on the coasts, New York and Los Angeles, who occasionally would hit a home run and get a really great job. But then they would go for months, sometimes literally years, between jobs, and found it very difficult to sustain a living. My suggestion to them, as it is to you, is to really consider becoming a leadoff batter. Become very good at hitting singles, doubles, and triples, because when you get on base a lot, and obviously the analogy I'm making is making sure that, it may not always be a movie trailer. It may not always be a New York Times best-selling book to narrate. It may not always be a national commercial campaign. But if you're working regularly, getting on base on a consistent basis, you're generating a consistent income. And then when you do hit a triple or a home run, what happens is that becomes a bonus, a cherry on the sundae, if you will. And you're not waiting every year or 2 years or 3 years to get that incredible job, because you're already getting a lot of base hits and doubles and triples, creating a consistent voice-over income. So again, if you're not making the income you want, I would encourage you to up your batting average, meaning the percentage of jobs that you get compared to those that you market for and audition for, by not always only auditioning through an agent for only national level work. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of corporate work out there, and there's a lot of advertising work at the local and the regional level that you can fill your basket with, that you can fill your days doing on a day-to-day basis, so that you can make a good and consistent income. And then when those opportunities to get the bigger hits come, the bigger income, you've got them. And again, you're not starving waiting for them to come. They're just bonus and on top of what you've already created for yourself. So I hope that this little this analogy, this becomes a paradigm shift for you so that you're not always looking to swing for the fence, but that you know that it's good to get on base every day. Get a base hit or 2 or 3 every day. Get on base, get a job, generate income. And as the opportunities, when the right pitch comes for you to hit out of the park, those will be there as well. But in the meantime, you can create a consistent and growing voiceover income. I do wish you great success. I hope you'll continue to use this YouTube channel as a resource and share the word, tell your friends, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.